Three scary true forest horror stories. This is from Mr. Nightmare, so I'll put a link in the description down below so you can check out his channel yourself. Very good channel. Um, Forest stories, like forest horror stories. Um, don't really have any like significant. Like when I was out in the forest reserve. I remember I was out there. I was like a little kid. I think I was maybe 10 or something, maybe 9, 10. And I was walking through the forest preserve in the woods, walking through, and I thought I heard like like a twig snap. Now, mind you, it was like fall, because a lot of dead leaves on the ground. And I was walking, and I was like, "What was that?" I was like, "What was that noise?" and and then I remember walking and then hearing it. It was weird. It was almost like they were trying to go in the same like cadence I was like for my walking. And then I remember stopping, and I remember stopping at a tree, and I was looking down, and I heard like, you know, and I immediately like stopped and kind of just like looked around, like I just did like a complete 360. Right, didn't see anybody, didn't see anything, nothing at least in my eye shot that would alarm me if someone's in my presence. So I was like, what's that? But then the sound stopped. I started walking again. And then I ended up hearing it again, like someone was walking. And like it was trying to mimic my steps or mimic the sound my steps were making. Because, like I said, it was a lot of dead leaves and you hear a lot of crunching of dead leaves. So it was pretty much impossible for someone to be quiet. And then I remember stopping and hearing like, I stopped and you hear it, and then the sound like right behind my foot hitting the dead leaves. It was like, and I was like, and it wasn't an echo. Like I know it wasn't that. I start hauling. I didn't see anything. Didn't see anybody. Just start. I was like, I'm not even like I don't need to check. Like I heard some. I don't know what it is. So I just start hauling ass like out the forest preserve to like the open area. Start hauling that. Didn't even really think to listen to see if I heard anything because I would just run. I remember jumping over a tree, like a tree had, I don't know, it died or something, and like piece of it had fallen off, but it was still connected to the other tree. So I remember jumping over that, but my foot got caught, fell, landed in like a bunch of mud. But it didn't get on. It didn't get on me. But my hand, I caught myself in my hand, and I had mud like all over, like the palm of my hand, and it squished the guy like on between my fingers. And I was going to like I think I went to like it was like a water fountain and like trying to wipe because I didn't want my dad to see. Like, what are you doing out there? Like, why you kept falling and kept mud on you? So I didn't get any mud on any. I might have got mud on my knee. Now I'm thinking about it, my knees. But yeah, I was just like trying to get there. I got ran out of the woods. I didn't see no one came out. I didn't see anyone following me, so it's probably just chopped it up to a kid just being scared and just it could have been squirrels out there for all I know. But yeah, and I don't think I've had any real. I mean, I've heard noises. Like I've lived in areas where uh, there's like a wooded area, like right next to where I live, and I've heard like loud animal noises in there. Or I remember one time I was in Mississippi, we had like a wooded area right by our apartment complex, and it was went on. It was like a pretty thick wooded area that went on for I don't know, maybe like a couple miles, maybe not even a couple miles. I'm like, yeah, it might have been a couple miles to a river, and it like just dropped off into this river, like a big ass drop off. And I remember hearing like you could hear stuff in there. Sound like it almost sounded like a person yelling. Now the thing was, it was a prison. Like it was my apartment complex, and it was like a small apartment complex that I found out years later was actually like it was like a senior citizen type apartment. They were all one floor, I mean, like ground level apartments, and I didn't think of it until I remember seeing only elderly people who lived there. And then they had like a sign I ended up seeing, like I for some reason driven past it, never saw it, and saw like I don't know if it maybe it was a new sign. It was a sign, so like it was like a apartment basically for elderly people, where it's not assisted living or anything like that, but it's just like you old and you can't really take care of house yourself, so they have like little apartments for elderly people. And then after that, it was like kind of like a wide, like a big space, and there was a prison. And I remember one time some prisoners like escaped, they hopped the fence and got out, and it was the forest. I mean, it was a wooded area, like right there, so they could just jump over that fence and be right in a wooded area, you know. And I remember that happened in winter. In that particular winter, it got real cold compared to like I guess normal winters in Mississippi, I guess. And they were trying to get the prisoners had gotten out. Apparently, they had been in that area for like 2 days. They were trying to get climb back into the prison because I remember seeing this on the local news down there. They were trying to crawl back over the fence, and the police shot them. Well, like I don't know the guards or whatever, but they shot them. Trying to get back into the prison. They shot one of them trying to get back into the prison. I was like, because it was three of them, and shot one of them trying to get back in the prison. I was like, why did they shoot him? He's climbing. They said they shot him on the fence. I said, so they shot him, and he didn't die. I think they said they shot him like in his leg or some shit like that. But I was like, what did they shoot him for? If he was climbing the fence trying to get back in the prison, and you shot him while he was on the fence. So, but yeah, never really had any really bad like forest. I mean, I've never been in like a big thick like Appalachian Mountains type forest. I've been like in a forest preserve where you can any direction you can walk and you will eventually end up outside on a public street. So it's not like you would get lost in there for days or something like. But anyway, let's get into this. All right, here we go. Shit. LA Fishman. Fishman.
Every so often when we were little, our parents would go away for a weekend while our Uncle Ron would watch us. Our Uncle Ron has been single his whole life, but he always loved kids, so he always happily did it. One Friday night, the same night our parents left town,
Maybe he's asexual.
we were all watching Titanic during a monster snowstorm. Me, my two brothers, my older sister, and our Uncle Ron. I remember certain parts of this night so vividly, but other parts I just draw blanks. I do remember, however, that the power flicked off briefly, and we had to reset the VCR to get back to where we were in the movie. Shortly after that, our Uncle Ron was fast asleep. We let him sleep while we kept watching the movie. It was at the part where Rose was running with the axe back to the room that Jack was trapped in. One of my brothers was coming back from the bathroom, and on his way, he went outside for whatever reason, likely just to look at the snow.
Oh,
He came back
snowing.
inside yelling for us to come take a look at something. Starved for a little excitement, I guess, the three of us ran to the back door. We could see what he was talking about now. There was a set of footprints in the snow.
Oh
It
boy.
led from the back door, then to the window,
Bigfoot.
and then back in the direction of the yard and woods. To make the matter even more eerie, he said he heard the back doorknob turn. Our sister, even though she was the oldest by 3 years, ran inside freaking out. My brothers and I, on the other hand, were kind of excited by it and wanted to follow the footprints.
We were kind of dumb.
Our sister was threatening to wake up our Uncle Ron as she saw us putting our coats and boots on, but I convinced her it'd be fine and we weren't going too far, and that we'd be together. She went back to the living room to watch the movie without us while we all marched out into the cold snowstorm, following the footprints that were quickly filling in with new snow. The footprints led to the woods in the backyard. The deeper into the woods we got, the deeper the footprints were. We weren't sure if that was because less snow was falling to the ground under the trees, or because the footprints were fresher. We were following those footprints for a
Why are
while,
you
until
out there?
finally, we saw where they were leading to.
Cause you
A
dumb.
cabin, literally tucked away in the
Oh
woods.
my god.
It was dark inside though. No light was emitting from the windows. The footsteps led to the front door of the cabin, but we didn't dare go up to it.
Thank you.
Instead, we crept over to the closest window to peer
Oh, but
inside.
it's still stupid.
It was
At
too
least they
dark
didn't
to
try
see
go
anything inside though, but we noticed it wasn't actually a glass window. It was just a screen. Then there were 2 thumps from inside of the cabin, and then the sound of something sliding. We didn't see what caused the sound though. Suddenly, one of my brothers screamed and pointed behind us. We turned to see a head poking out from another window of the cabin, but it was so dark all we could see was blackness, no features. Then the head disappeared from view as we heard rapid thumping sounds inside of the cabin, and then the front door to the cabin burst open. We all screamed and ran for our dear lives back in the direction of the house, following the footprints. I don't think we were actually chased though. The next day we tried taking our Uncle Ron on a hike to that cabin, but we couldn't for the lives of us find it. The creepiest thing to this day, we still live in the same house, and after all these years, we still never came across that cabin again. In fact, we can't even find it on maps or Google Earth.
That's weird.
If it weren't for the fact that I was with my 2 brothers, I would question if this ever even happened.
I mean, y'all probably just, bad at directions. It's nothing like
My friends, who
supernatural.
I'll refer to as S and J, came along with me on a little camping trip near Blue Mountain National Park. We set up camp near a small pond, just because it seemed like the coolest place to chill. The point of this whole trip was mainly just to get out, drink a bunch of beers with friends, and chill. I cracked open my second Budweiser, laughing it up with S and J, talking about some of our other friends, with music playing in the background, overall just having a good time. Then, however, I saw S reach over for the speaker and turn it down all the way, and then shushed us and pointed out to the pond. S whispered, "Do you guys see that?" Jay and I looked out to the pond. The campfire had a glow that partially reflected on the pond water, but even yet, I couldn't see what he was pointing at. S whispered, "There's something in the water."
Oh boy.
I went into the tent to get the flashlight from my bag.
It's fucking
When I
Jason
came out,
Voorhees.
S said don't, but I turned it on anyway and aimed it at the pond. The light didn't reveal anything or anyone, but we did all hear the sound of water being pushed, as if someone or something were walking in it. I turned out the light just because I was freaked out and looked at my 2 friends, who were both wearing cringing faces. I told S to shut off the speakers completely now. We all sat in our chairs, not really saying much anymore.
I'd have been like,
just
it's
listening
time
to
to
the
go.
surroundings.
I don't know what it is.
About an hour
but I
passed,
don't
and
want
within
to know.
that time, nothing happened. So we grew more comfortable again, and things went back to normal.
We grew more dumber again.
Eventually, I went to my tent, and S and J went to the tent that they'd be sharing.
Why
and we
would
all
you
went to
stay
sleep.
out there?
Now that I was alone with my thoughts, however, I started thinking
The only
about
way I
the
would
thing
have
that
stayed there
S
if
said
it was
in
like
the water.
10 of us.
He never actually described what it looked like,
And
if
at
it was
least
an animal or
one
a
person
person.
had a gun.
My sense of hearing was heightened as I was in a state of alert, and because of that, I heard something from the woods. I sat up, since that always seems to help with concentration. I needed to hear one more sound before I could confirm something wasn't right. There was the sound again, much closer now, and I was able to confirm it was a foot hitting the ground. Whether it was a person's foot or an animal's foot was still unclear, however. I heard another footstep, this time much closer. It was clear someone or something was sneaking around our campsite.
See, that's why you
There
need a
was
12
one vital
days. You go,
footstep.
shh.
It was really close to the tent.
Be like, leave.
I started texting
And
S,
then they just, you
but
hear
I
the
was
footsteps
only able to
walking
type
away.
out the words, "There's something," before the gut-wrenching, blood-curdling scream pierced through the walls of the tent. I couldn't tell if it was the scream of a man or a woman. It's hard to explain, but it was deep enough where it could be a man, but not so deep to the point that it couldn't be a woman. The scream lasted about 5 seconds. Then there was silence. I didn't know if I should get out, call for my friends, or stay silent. I texted S, "Dude, we have to run." He responded, "What was that?" I didn't answer right away. Instead, I tried to think of what we could do. But pretty soon, S texted me again, saying the coast is clear, run for the car. I grabbed the keys from my bag, opened the zipper to the tent, and sprinted to the car, which luckily was only about 30 seconds away. We stayed in the car all night and went back the next morning for our stuff, which luckily was all still there. Still have no idea who, or even dare I say what that thing was at our campsite that night. Just happy we got out okay.
I almost feel like this story is supposed to be like paranormal, because like, why would some random person walk up, scream, and then leave like that? You know, this, I guess you just fucking with people.
Skipping most of the background of the story,
It's
I
kind
once
of
found
pointless.
myself walking through the woods during a slight drizzle. All I had on me was my backpack with a spare pair of pants, a flashlight, a tripod and camera, and some granola bars. I'm a photographer and video editor, and I was recording footage of a forest during rain, a river during rain, and snagging some pictures as well. Long story short, I found myself lost, trying to find my car. It was the worst day of my life. I was panicking, stressed, screaming to myself in anger, just wanting to find the car. I'd say an hour after getting lost, I started to pick up on noises around me. I don't mean multiple noises at once. I mean, at times I'd hear the same noise, just on different sides of me. The noise was footsteps, undeniably. I was starting to panic that I was being hunted by a bear. That was only at first, though.
Yeah, that'd be the
I
best
slowed
case
down to
scenario.
quiet my own footsteps so I would more likely hear where the other footsteps were. And when I did, I turned my head as quickly as possible in that direction. I saw half a person's body jumping behind a tree. Instead of calling out something or confronting them, I did what I still think was the smart thing. I walked away fast, playing it off like I didn't see him. It was starting to get
Don't
darker
play it off
every
like you
minute
didn't
now,
see them.
and the rain was
Cause
still
like,
coming
oh, they
down
didn't see
lightly,
me, and they gonna
but my
keep
heart was
pursuing
racing
you.
faster than ever. I checked my phone every 10 seconds and finally got one bar. I stopped walking, wiped the screen of rainwater, and opened maps first thing to find the nearest road, which was very close. I let out a sigh of relief, only to hear footsteps closing in on me from behind. I turned and spotted the person again. It was a man, and I know that in of itself doesn't sound so disturbing, just really sketchy, but I'm telling you, the sight was horrifying. I could only see the man briefly before he jumped behind a tree once again as if he thought I couldn't see him. But he looked huge. Really tall, average build, maybe a little overweight, jeans, and from what I could tell, a dark blue jacket with the hood up, half zipped down, exposing a white shirt underneath. He also had on glasses, but that's all I got of his face.
Damn, you saw him pretty close.
He was hiding behind a tree maybe 15 feet away.
See glasses.
And over the sound of millions of raindrops, all I heard was psst, psst. Now I ran.
Man,
I
yeah,
didn't
I'd been
care
like,
anymore.
run. I was about to say,
borderline
run.
about to have a panic attack. I continued running when I found the road. I ran until I thought there was no chance of him catching up to me. Then I continued walking until I finally hitched a ride from a passing car, who took me back to where I was parked. I didn't bother mentioning what happened to the driver. I just told him I got lost is all. He went on his way as I got into my car and drove the half-hour trip back home, all the while reflecting on what just happened and my life.
I'm doing some life reflection. What am I doing with my life? What is it? Uh, I always thought that was beautiful. Like I've been in the woods when it started raining like that. So I'm like almost like a rainstorm. Not just rain, but like thunder and lightning. I always thought it looked beautiful, especially like um, like during the day with like that it was still bright, but of course it's cloudy because it's raining. Obviously, I always thought that looked beautiful, but never. But I've never had a course like this where you walk into a rainstorm in the woods and then somebody just sees you and is like, I'm gonna fuck with this person, or keeps following you, or and then hiding. Like, oh, they didn't see me hide behind a tree. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's when I say, like, when you go, like, I kind of want to go camping, but I have to get my concealed carry first because, uh, I mean, even though I'm in the woods, but still, I don't want, like, I'm not going camping without a gun. I mean, I guess I got knives and I got, retractable batons. I got throwing knives that I know how to throw. But still, you can pull out a knife, but that means I gotta get close. I don't want to get close. I want to be a good distance away and be like, hey, I can shoot off a gun in the air and be like, hey, that was the warning shot. If I see you again, if I see you, yeah, if I haven't seen him, I just heard noises. Like if you come over here or come over here, you're getting fucked up. And maybe that loud noise will make an animal, go away. No way I don't have to shoot an animal. But usually you got a campfire, animals won't, come up there anyway. But usually, I should say. I have seen videos of like grizzly bears or black bears like coming into campsites with a flame or the fire going. And but that was because they left food out. And the animals just they see the fire, but that smell and that food was just too intoxicating, and they went in there and they chanced and went in there anyway. But yeah, you don't leave food out and shit like that. Or I saw somebody, this was years ago. This is like shit, probably like 25 years ago. So I was like, he's like women who are menstruating shouldn't go in the woods. I was like, I don't know about that. I mean, I've heard of things like that because of the blood and stuff, but I don't know. I mean, I know blood can draw, like predators. They smell blood, obviously. But I was, he's like, don't go in the woods. Women don't go in the woods. You're menstruating. Like I just don't know about menstruation. I mean, yeah, it's blood in there, but it's like discharge. It's not just blood. So I don't know. Maybe there's maybe that some truth to it. I guess they were thinking about the blood aspect. I guess if you take that and like get it, bury it, or get it far away, I don't think a woman would go camping if she's her period anyway. It's enough shit to deal with without being in the woods on your period. But I guess you could bury it or I don't know, get it very, very far away from your campsite. But yeah, just that last one. Did he say he was just walking in the woods and then it started raining, or was he camping? I don't know. I didn't catch that first part because he was just like it seemed like he was just. It's like when I started really paying attention, he was already in the woods, and then he's talking about somebody was behind him and hiding behind a tree, and he saw them. that's like when my mind clicked. Like, wait, what? You're in danger. Anyway, hope you enjoyed my reaction one. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Hit that bell. You'll be notified when I upload new videos. Comment down below. Share this video. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.